Welcome to the Business Banter Podcast. My name is Nick Holmes. I am sitting here today with
Regan Wise. What's going on, everybody?
And we've got our special guest of the day, Miss Jen Verge.
Hello. Good morning, guys.
Welcome, Virginator.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I feel out of place. I don't have cowboy boots on.
You have boots on.
Yeah, but they're not the same.
Well, so I'm really happy because Nick he promised me last week. I don't know if you guys saw it, but he's got the boots on today. He's a man of his word. There they are. I love it. Boot Brothers. Go ahead. Tap it. There we go. That was it.
Oh, Lord have mercy. What did I get myself into?
Boot Brothers in Brooksville. All right. So, I think everyone probably knows who Jen Verge is. But, I mean, you get out there quite a bit on social media.
Okay.
So,
I tried.
But for everyone who doesn't know, you're a realtor, first and foremost, right? What brokerage are you with?
I am with Remax Alliance Group Realty, and I've been with them since 2020 when the whole pandemic and everything started.
Fun.
Probably the worst
Great time to
get
hop in,
started.
right?
But I was a little nervous at that time because of the pandemic, but it was one of the best moves I ever made, and it was very, very lucrative and successful for those first 2 years when everybody was literally a mass exodus from every other state and coming here to Florida. Right. So we did very, very well those first few years. And actually, Regan is the one that introduced me to the broker owner at that time, Rachel Gallagher, and got me my foot in the door. So yeah.
I just thought it was a great fit. Yeah, she was looking for a move, and Rachel was looking for hungry individuals. And I say this to Jen all the time. People hear me say it. I've never been with a harder working person than Verge. And I give Nick props, because this dude works a lot. Jen's always the hardest worker in the room. Every time, Hub Life charities, Hub Pro events that we do, all the Huboween events, hardest worker in the room.
Oh,
bar
thank
none.
you for that. Appreciate it.
Bar none.
Yeah.
Well,
You could slip me a 50 later.
I think we mentioned it either last podcast or the podcast before, but you were actually the reason that the contractor even exists.
I know that. It was funny
you know?
because you guys were talking about how that, you guys getting together and getting started. And I was started to think, and I'm like, we met because we were going to do the loop, remember? Mm-hmm. And then we were looking for engineers and architects and things like that. And then I found you, just Googled you. And then we met with you and my cousins, and then we had him come in and his contractor company at the time. And then that you guys kind of just, now look at you.
It's crazy, huh?
It's amazing how her decision of a phone call, right, just led us to where we are today. That's the catalyst of everything. It's crazy.
Insane.
It's all good marketing on everybody's part.
There you go. there you go.
No, you've been doing really good. I mean, how long did you have Homes Drafting?
So we started in 2016, and then I worked for the other company that I was at until 2018. There was a 2-year overlap. In August of 2018 is when I finally broke out and started 100%.
Your own.
100% focused on homes.
1 year later, the loop.
Yep.
1 year later.
Yep.
Yep.
And that was all from a Google search. So put your business on Google, man, and make sure you have your Google page spruced up so you can get found.
It's true.
Because you never know what can happen.
Exactly. Yeah.
So true. Yeah, so a lot of things have come from that. And I think you wound up building a ton of relationships in and out of Pasco, Hernando County. I don't know if you want to chat on all that, how that started.
I know that was kind of crazy too. I mean, honestly, it's really a catalyst because this guy knows everyone. I mean, they say he's like the, mayor of Newport Richey.
Yeah, that will never happen.
But I had never been going into Newport Richey until I met this gentleman over here. But I'm over there more than I'm in Hernando County almost.
And now I'm in Hernando.
They always joke with me,
switch.
oh gosh, you're going back to Gainesville. That's how far I have to drive. Yeah. But I'm used to it now. But I do a lot of business in Pasco County, and also of course Hernando County. I've been a resident here over 35 years. But I've been able to meet some really, really great people, some great business connections, some wonderful people that are, really high up there as far as status goes in the community. And it's been really awesome to be able to just be in those different spaces, those different rooms with these movers and shakers and decision makers, Oh, I made that rhyme.
Nick, you can be in a room full of movers and shakers, but if you're not a standout, there's no point of you being in that room of movers and shakers. 100%. Right? You can, and so give yourself credit. You can hear and listen and pick nuggets from people, but you're the one in there that's standing out. That's what makes the difference, right? We can invite anyone to a room of givers and shakers, like you said, but then they just sit there and they're complacent and say nothing. So you've elevated yourself to that level because people have recognized your ability, not just your talent, but your abilities as well. So
I think it's also important because we just had a meeting with our Hub Pro group, which is a networking group that we have out there in Pasco, and you brought us to Trey Starkey the other day.
Yeah.
And one of the big things that he brought up was how the most successful people out there have what in common. And he asked this question to everyone, and everybody was saying all these different, answers. And his top answer was to learn how to be social. Like, it's really important for you to be able to go into a room of people that you don't know and just be able to say, hey, how are you? This is my name. This is what I do. This is what I can offer you. And because you never know what.
I know this is your interview, but I'm kind of curious because I don't think I ever asked you this. Did you ever have an issue, or because you've really come out of the shell in regards to videos, which is, of course, I love it. But did you ever have that issue when you were younger, or like, I just got to walk into that room and make it happen? Especially in politics, like you just had to walk into a room.
So I was never one of the outgoing people. I've always been more of an introvert my entire life, and it wasn't until, it really wasn't until I met my wife. So my wife has a background in communications.
Good job, Ms. Holmes.
So she's the PIO for the county now. So she's always out, front facing as far as the county stuff goes. But she was really kind of the one who pushed me to get involved, especially when you separate, you just go full tilt into your business. The first thing you need to figure out is how to market yourself. So I was kind of doing that, kind of getting around to trying to get in touch with as many people as I could, but I was focused on the construction contacts I had. And I was focused on, a lot of little niche areas that I was built into. Right. She was the one who brought me in. It's like, no, just get set up with the chamber over here, get set up with this group over here, and start meeting people in the community.
What launched her then in that direction?
So she, in college she went for communications, got a communications degree, and then she worked for a smaller company that was doing like placement for therapists and stuff like that. It was basically a staffing agency type thing.
Right.
And then from that, she became the community outreach director for United Way.
Oh wow! Okay.
So she was working for United Way, and obviously, with any type of nonprofit that you're running, you're out there making the ask constantly, right? So you got to figure out how to approach people to where, when you approach those people, it's not always the, oh my God, I'm going to get asked for more money.
How much more do you want?
Yeah, exactly. So, no, she was already kind of out in the community a little bit, and that's when I finally got my start and said, I'm doing this full tilt and committing to it. She was like, these are people that you need to start talking to.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's cool. I didn't know that story.
Yep.
So, you, Virginator, you kind of were in, I don't want to say Broadway, but like you were in plays and singing as a kid. Like, so is that what kind of, like, you knew you were always going to be in sales?
Off Broadway.
Right.
No, I was originally from New York. I was born in the Bronx. I was the first of 3 children. So I'm 7 years older than my sister. So my parents were like, oh, look at this kid that we should put in like commercials and stuff. Let's get her an agent. And I ended up going to, Manhattan and doing all of these different auditions and things like that. And I was really bad. I was really bad enough that they threw me out of the room.
How old did that start?
I was probably like 5, 6 years old.
Okay.
And I would take the photos and do all that stuff. But whenever it came to, and I couldn't read. Well, when I was actually, that's how young I was. I couldn't read yet. My mom would tell me, what the script was, and I would memorize it.
Really?
And, but the thing is that when I would do it in front of my parents, I was completely fine. And I always say that it's like the WB frog where, you can like, hello, my baby. Like, it's just totally performing. And then when the audience comes out, he's like,
yeah.
So that was me.
Could you please play the frog part? Could you find the Warner Brothers frog?
Yes, please.
Because there's going to be an age demographic that has no clue of that reference.
Oh, but now I feel old. Come on.
That's true.
You have to know the
I don't think.
WB
Do you know
frog?
it? Oh, Josh. Okay, Josh knows it. I'm
Okay,
excited.
good.
If Josh knows, I'm good.
So-
Reruns.
From 40 years old. Go ahead,
It's
sorry.
true. That is pretty old.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember doing like the Zestfully Clean commercial, like trying to zestfully clean. You're not fully clean, like that. The little syrup.
Did you
butter
get that
word.
part?
No, I
She
did not.
wasn't zestfully clean,
I was
folks.
not zestfully clean. No, no. But they would tell me is come back when you're ready, because you're not ready. So I had an opportunity to actually be in a Paula Abdul video, the one that was like with the little kids.
Two steps forward?
2 steps
Come
forward,
on.
2 steps back, yes. And my parents were contemplating moving to Florida. And they were like, Jenny, let us know, is it something that you really want to do or like pursue, or do you want to move to Florida? And I'm like, I'm a kid. So I'm like, Disney, Mickey, Florida. Like, why would I want to be here? So I said, I want to go to Florida, Mom. And we ended up just leaving it there and coming to Florida. So I never really pursued it. I always wondered like what could happen or what could have happened. So, and I also sing and stuff like that too, just at church and in the shower, nothing crazy. And
I've seen some pretty cool car videos of you singing.
Thank you. Like car karaoke. But that's just a little thing that I'll do on the side. I've done national anthem and stuff like that at schools and whatever, but nothing that I pursued. But American Idol came to Orlando. The last year that I was going to qualify by age to try out I was like 26. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to try it, see what happens. And I just didn't want it to pass me by and always say, hey, I coulda, shoulda, woulda, and I never know what could happen. So I did go past, like it's crazy. It's like cattle. You're literally just there for days. My poor mother saved my space for me on the line. She stayed there with me, like sleeping on the line, just so that I didn't lose my spot. And I went in front of Nigel Lithgow, who was like the executive producer and all that stuff. And you're given like 10 seconds to like wow this person, and then you're standing with 6 other people, and it's like he's like, look, you. 2 seconds, and they're like, no, you 2 seconds. I'm like, oh my God. So I made it to him, and he says, you have a good voice, but you're not what we're looking for right now. And I was like, okay, cool. So at least I tried it. And
like, just like that.
Just like that.
Wow.
And that's the year that Carrie Underwood won. So I feel like they were trying to find like different genres of music because they had, the pop person from the year before and whatever. And yeah, you guys with your cowboy, maybe I should have worn some cowboy boots and I could have gotten past it. But no.
Listen, I don't want to hear it because Beyonce just went country, so it could have happened.
I saw that this morning. I'm like, what? I guess everybody.
And it's like number country. 1 on the charts.
But hey, I don't want to take Carrie Underwood away from the world. She's awesome. So I just stepped back and just let her have it. You know what I mean?
So, Jen is the reason we have Carrie Underwood.
It's crazy. I look back at that and I'm like, I tried out the same year that Carrie Underwood won, which is neat. So, but now I never have to wonder what could have happened because I know that I failed. So
you didn't though. I mean, all those are experiences to where you are now.
Yeah,
it's not a failure.
But I think that as I got older, I kind of came out of my shell a little bit more. But when it came to social media, I had never done videos or anything like that. As far as trying to promote myself. Before I did real estate, I was an insurance agent for WellCare for many years, and it's a Medicare government program, so there's certain things you can and can't say, so you really can't advertise yourself like that. But when I got into the real estate, that's when I was meeting up with Regan and getting with the loop and all that kind of stuff, and he's like, you got to get yourself out there. Like, how are people going to know about you if you don't put yourself on video? And I was one of those people that's like, my friends what are they gonna think, or who is so and so is gonna make fun of me or whatever. And he's like, why do you care? Is that even your audience? And I said, oh, well, you're not wrong. So from then on, I just post whatever. And sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's serious, sometimes
you see so many realtors that are just order takers.
Yeah.
Those are the people that I don't know how you can be a part-time anything.
I know.
So that's unfortunately one of the industries that we have so many like, oh yeah, I'm also a realtor, but my day job is
I wash
bus
cars
driver,
too,
whatever,
right.
So,
it's so much. I mean, there's times like literally I was texting a client last night. It was like 9:45, 10 o'clock, and he's like, I'm interested in this one and I want this one, and you have commercial property too, and I try to do that separate work-life balance. Yeah. But when it comes to, these people are getting home from work, and when their downtime is starting, that's when they're starting to look at Realtor.com and all of these different things and start sending me stuff. And I'm like starting to cook dinner and trying to help my son with homework and all this stuff. And and you have to respond. You have to be available. And
there's
it's hard
a
for
generation before us that laughs at the generation below us that says, I got to find that balance. Because there's no balance.
Yeah.
They're just not. Like, it's either you do it or you don't. And I understand it and all the mental health crap and all that. I get it. But if you got to work, it's like you're saying, your downtime is their time. They just got home and now they got to look at these other things. So it's just nonstop. So I know it's tough. It gets tough.
It's hard. And I do try to, separate it and, try to say, hey, after, 7, 8 o'clock, if I don't respond, I'll get back to you in the morning or what have you. But there's just some times where you have to respond and you have to be available. And it's hard for someone that's working as a part-time realtor to be able to give you the attention that you need and the guidance that you need when they're also working a regular full-time job, So, and not to dog anybody that does it, because if you're able to do it, hey, more power to you. But it's not easy because you're literally like almost 24/7 just available. If you want to make money and be successful, that's for sure.
How bad do you want to eat?
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. So let's talk really quick. So now you've injected yourself into community, into business, around other people. And we were talking briefly before these cameras started rolling about making those video comments. So yesterday in our local network, for those of you not in the Tampa Bay area, there's a network we have called The Hub, and it's where people go and look for resources. So at the end of the day, somebody was looking for a realtor the other day. And we don't know what it was. It could have been just them soliciting, trying to get people's information, because that's what happens. But either which way, you're putting yourself out there to maybe that person would want to work with you because you put out video. So 500, what was it, 557?
577.
577 comments with no video, except I guess Kayla McDonald said she made one, but I never saw it either. No. So either way. Anyway, 577 videos, 577 comments, no videos.
That's crazy.
Talk on that.
Well, I was actually tagged on it and I didn't realize it because, you're working, you're doing a whole bunch of stuff and you can only be so many places at one time. So I didn't post a video, and it's the Hub group, which I'm an admin of. So you would think that I would, try to promote myself, but I really don't. He actually gets on me like, hey, you're part of this group, put yourself out there. And I feel like if we're admins and moderators, let everybody else have an opportunity. I don't want to put myself hey, it's me. So I just post videos that really don't have anything to do with me being a real estate agent. But I did post my professional video that I actually got from Apeshot Media. That was done for me. A little shameless plug. I posted that professional one, and then I also posted one that I had done in another group, just kind of giving them an idea of what type of video they can post. Somebody was asking, why would you post a video, and what's an example of something that you would post? And I told them, if you call that person's name and say, hey, Mr. Holmes, I'm Jennifer with Remax, and I'm happy to sit down with you. You literally just ingrained yourself in that person's mind. And you're like, wow, out of all of these people, this person took, 30 seconds of their time to go ahead and call me out. And now maybe I do want to sit down with this person. And it works. It works all the time.
100% does. And I used to be the type of guy where I would go ahead and, instead of posting publicly in the comment chain, I just go ahead and send a DM and try to make that type of connection on the back end. But what I was really realizing is there's so many people that are just watchers online that don't actually engage and post. That for every one of those posts that go ahead and mention us, 45 times in the comments, we probably pick up 3 or 4 other people who are just watching the post. It's not even actually the person asking the question. But I think the big thing with video and comments is that people buy people. We all know that. And even if it's a 30-second little clip of who you are as a person, you've already made that jump of getting past a cold phone call or anything like that. I think it's a huge benefit. What
really blew me away is that then I called out every realtor on the planet, and I screenshot that post, circled the 557, and then I went back in and I'm like, realtors, wake up, and then gave examples. And then a lot of the realtors, of course, got defensive because, they're part-time realtors. And they said, and I don't care, they're going to get mad at me for this one too. Oh, I would never watch a video comment, but you have no choice. Go ahead, Nick.
It's a pre-roll video.
Yeah, it's you don't have a choice.
You don't have to click on it. It just starts.
It's true.
So I understand a lot of people have their sound off on stuff like that, but at the end of the day, you're so much more likely to watch a video, even as a 3-second clip of a video, than go ahead and click on a business card image or click on all the other.
Dude, people still take pictures of their business card
on the kitchen counter.
On the counter on their horrible Formica countertop. Take a picture and say, call me. I'm like, anyway, We can go on for hours about that. But actually, you know what we should talk about a little bit, because that's a part of this. That's what this is. We're supposed to help people. That's the goal, Jen. And I think you recognize more than anything, like you said, you truly don't have to talk about your business as much of just helping other people. Then they'll find out and look at what you do. Sometimes you don't have to say a word. We rarely talk about Barnos on this on this show, but people figure out what we do. They're like, oh, these guys are doing something right. So, and
another important thing to do is to add text to your videos, because what is it, the statistic, like 87% of people watch video on with no sound. I mean, you know, sometimes you're watching and your spouse is sleeping, or you know, you're on the toilet or whatever, or you're at work and you're not supposed to be watching your videos, and you have it on off sound. But if you put that text on there, people are going to be able to see what you're saying, and they're more apt to stick with your video if you've got some text. So get your cap cuts going. And you know, add some text to your videos, and you'll definitely get.
Isn't it crazy how many tools have come out to make that easier? You know, like thinking even 5 years ago, it really wasn't that simple to go ahead and add captions to it.
No, we would have to go on iMovie.
Yep.
And then type some of the stuff in, because it didn't have that AI, artificial intelligence at all. Or you would just have to be very descriptive in your text of, hey, this is what this video is about. Right. Yeah, it's a different world.
Back in my day.
Yeah. But I do.
You know what I still can't figure out is TikTok. And I feel so old, because I just, for some reason.
It's the same thing.
It's not. Like, for me, I have like a mind block when it comes to TikTok.
It's the what's the word? It's the profile. It's the, I forgot the
I don't know.
name.
It's the way that they have it. It's not user friendly.
When you're scrolling, it's not as user friendly, I think. Scrolling through Instagram and Facebook, it's like super simple, but there it's just straight video. And then if you want to find the text, you got to go into the video to find the text. It's just a different platform or format. Excuse me.
Interface.
Yeah, interface. Thank you.
It's a pain. So yeah, I don't do TikTok videos, obviously.
But is that even your demographic that you're shooting for?
No,
eventually
not
they will be,
necessarily,
though, right?
but I guess it's good to be on all the platforms, you know. So
I guess for me, thank God we've got guys that have time to do this all day now.
it's a lot of work.
It's just I can't imagine as a realtor having to juggle all the things that you juggle and make sure that you got your social media presence there. Like that's a time.
Yeah, but I don't understand like why a realtor office doesn't hire Apeshot Media to do all of their clientels, right? Like, why is that not the norm? It's going to be the norm, in my opinion.
I think for brokers that care about the realtors, they probably would.
That's actually a really great idea.
It should be
like an in-house production.
Well, yeah, or if they can't afford in-house, at least outsource it.
Yeah.
And then, quite frankly, you get your top tier producers that are going to put out the best content, that are going to enhance your brokerage, but
100%.
they won't invest in themselves. And realtors, and stop me if I'm wrong, but you're a realtor. You're a licensed realtor, and there's a stigma that you're cheap.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's heard over and over again.
You know how much money we spend just on, you know, marketing and advertising and all that stuff when it comes photography, videography, drone, you know, there's a lot of stuff that we spend. And then people are like,
you spend.
You spend. And then people are like, can I just reduce your commission to like, I don't know, 1%? And you're like, no, I mean, I need to eat. I need to live, you know? You don't realize where a lot of those things, a lot of the money from that commission goes right back into marketing. Marketing your property or just marketing total, period. It's a lot. So we do spend a lot of money on stuff, and we're 1099, so I don't have insurance and stuff like that. All of those things I have to pay for on my own.
Are you guys allowed to itemize your commission?
What do you mean itemize?
Like, could you go ahead and break it down and say, hey, 0.5% of the commission is going towards marketing, 0.5% is going to this? Actually?
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea. No, we could if we wanted to.
I know you get a lot of those people that like advertise the 2% listing commission, you know, and all that, but that's
a good idea.
Yeah, to put it up on MLS and actually list it, but they're still getting a commission on the back end if it sells, right?
But the problem with that is that a lot of these like discount brokers, they'll get your home, they'll do the bare minimum, and then you never hear from them again. Right. And that's the problem. You know, so you can either pay the 2%, the discount rate, or you can pay the 3% and, you know.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that's the discount rate to get it up there. They're still charging an additional percentage on the back end if they actually sell, right?
Well, you've got the usual and customary 6% total.
Okay.
So the listing agent, the person listing the property, gets half, and then the buyer's agent usually gets half. Gotcha. If you're able to find a buyer for your listing, then you get the whole 6. traditionally.
Gotcha. Okay.
But your commission is negotiable, and what you offer for that commission is negotiable. Like some people will offer a home cleaning, or somebody will offer a warranty for your home to be added in there. So that's $500 right there. And sometimes cleaning your house could be about $500 depending on how clean or dirty it is, So we do put a lot of money into things. There's been times where a repair needs to be done and I know my seller can't afford it right now, and I'm like, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. We'll throw it in there, $150, $200. There's stuff that people don't see that we do. I've cleaned out houses before. I've cleaned out refrigerators with maggots in them. I've mowed lawns. That's not something that every person is willing to do. But for my clients, I try to go above and beyond and do what's necessary to take care of them and make sure they're happy.
I'll tell you a story right now. It's we've got a project that we're working on where we had to make up a pretty big gap in price between the appraisal price and the actual sale price. And it was surprising to see how many pieces of the puzzle between us as the contractor, the lender, the realtor, everybody chipping in a ton of money to make this thing actually happen.
Yeah.
So it was impressive. Something I had never seen before on that type of stuff. And so I'm not really in the industry of the sales transaction portion of it. We write the contracts to go ahead and get everything built, but after that point, it's just find me the money and give me the money and make it happen.
And you don't realize what all goes into it, and it can be stressful sometimes. I mean, I've cried on behalf of my sellers or buyers because they were getting taken or trying to get taken advantage of or something, and it's just so frustrating. And you really get invested, in trying to help these people, either sell or buy or what have you. And sometimes things are out of your hands and you can't control them, and it just does get a little bit frustrating. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't know about. They see the sold picture and they're like, oh, I want to do that. And you're like, oh, it's not that easy.
So, all right, let's talk about that, Jen. So I think you are in that, and I'm not, I know you're going to think I'm dogging you, but no, it's age. We're in that age. We're all in that age gap where it's like we were trained a certain way in the old ways, where you take the picture, the real estate picture with the, I'm talking with the coat, and then now the new ways. So like, I think you're a perfect mix of both generations, but what do you think's more effective? Is it that more of that natural, just go out and show people who you are, or do the people want that, hi, I'm Jen Verge, realtor with shoulder pads?
He's always making fun of me. I don't know if you can
People know what I'm talking about.
If you can see my feet, but I can't even reach the floor right now. So I don't wear shoulder pads, okay, because it'll make me look even shorter. Okay, stop.
You know what I mean.
So, no, I think that there is a mix. I really do. I feel that there is that older demographic that sometimes wants to have that little bit more polished, more professional, and you have to be able to conform to your client. So when I'm meeting somebody for the first time, I usually won't wear jeans. I'll have black pants on, a skirt, dress, just kind of be a little bit more dressy, a little more professional. And then as you start your journey with these clients, you kind of get a little bit more comfortable.
It's like a marriage.
It's true. It's true. You get a little bit more comfortable.
All dressed up, right?
The thing too is that it is a journey.
It is.
Think how long do you actually spend with a lot of these clients?
Oh my gosh. I sold a house just recently to one of my clients, my poor little veteran guy that I was working with for 2 years.
It's crazy.
Whoa.
2 years. He goes, you're like my daughter now.
That's crazy.
I'm like, hey, Merry Christmas. Because we had been together so many times throughout that time frame. And he was very, very sweet. But you become close with some of these people, and you get to know their kids, and you get to know what they're going through. Like sometimes somebody will say, oh, I can't go that day. My husband's having a procedure or whatever. And I try to make people feel special, and I try to remember and I try to listen when they're telling me something. So if they say, oh, my husband's having a surgery on Wednesday the 10th or whatever, I'll remember that, or I'll put it down and I'll say on Wednesday the 10th, check in on them and make sure that procedure went well. And for someone to like not really know you and be like, hey, just checking in, hopefully everything went well. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm genuinely just checking in and hoping that everything went okay. People are like, wait, what? What are you doing?
Well, that's a big deal.
Who does that?
That's a big deal. Yeah.
And I really do try to remember all of those things. That's why when I'm driving for like 45 minutes, I'm thinking of 500 different things that I'm trying to, make sure that I don't forget. But those are just little special touches that I try to be a little bit different than somebody else. And they'll know that you do genuinely care about them. And it's not just about the commission, so.
Something that I've always kind of wondered on the real estate front is, and it sounds like you're more of, you might not go this direction at all, so correct me where I might be wrong. I've always thought it might be better for real estate agents to focus on one particular type of listing and just say, I am the waterfront
specialist.
I am the, really kind of hone in on like a specialty of type of realty. It doesn't sound like you really try to do that at all. You're kind of all over the place and whatever sells. But is there a benefit to that at all? Or do you see that often? Is that a commonplace?
I think it's a combination. I think you do have some agents that I had one person that I tried to reach out to one time, and she was a listing agent, and she's like, oh, I don't leave the 10-mile radius of like the Spring Hill area. And I was like, how do you make money? Like, you have to be able to branch out into different places. Some people are more comfortable with just sticking with that one niche and they don't want to do anything else. I feel like, why would I take myself and just minimize where I'm available? Why wouldn't I just branch out to whatever I can? And even I'm branching out into commercial and things like that. And some people are like, how are you getting into the commercial? And I'm just like, look, if you don't offer kind of a little bit of everything and learn and as you go, you're really selling yourself short. So try to get into as many things as possible.
Especially on commercial. I mean, commercial, I don't think commercials where realtors, in my mind, kind of separate from being just the transaction broker to being like the industry knowledge. Like, there's a lot of stuff in commercial transactions that is maybe above and beyond what a weekend realtor should be doing at all.
Absolutely. You have to learn a lot more. You have to, and thank God in our brokerage we have really great leadership and brokers that will answer any questions that you might have, because with a transaction, it's different every single time. You never know what's going to happen. Right. And sometimes it's just a situation that you're like, okay, I've never dealt with this before. What's the best way to proceed? And we have really great brokers in there that help and guide us. But when it comes to like commercial and things like that, I want to be able to know as much as I can about everything. That's just how I've always been. Because I just don't want to keep myself in a box.
Comes down to the time aspect, though, right?
That what?
I said it comes down to the time aspect. How much time do you have to actually do the research on the commercial properties? Like, I know in our business of just occupancy changes and stuff like that, there's so much that goes into what is allowed in certain areas and what is not allowed in certain areas, and what you can change from and against, and how many parking spaces are you allowed to have.
Well, that's the thing, is that you have to go out there and learn it and figure it out. It's what's funny to me is there's so many people that text me on a daily basis and they're like, hey, what do I do for this? How do I? And I'm like, hey, I'm not like Google. Like, I don't know everything. But I mean, here's some information, but I do the legwork. I do the research. I'll call zoning and I'll be like, I don't know the answer to that question, but I will find it for you. Right. And I will keep calling until I get somebody on the phone that knows what the heck they're talking about. And if they don't pick up the phone, I go down to the office and I find the answer. That's the type of person that I am. So,
but you positioned yourself to be that's what you've done. So you always said you become the authority. That's why people go to you now, because people just know you as the person that gets stuff done, but you're the one that's willing to put in the research. I think I didn't even know about mineral rights until,
oh my God, that was
I'm
fun.
Like, what the hell is mineral rights? We had to worry about.
We had to learn about all that with the county line property and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so there's just a lot of things that, you're not going to know everything, but you have to be willing to figure it out and find the answer, and don't stop until you do. So that's one of the things that I do, is I just keep on I'll keep on asking until I get an answer. Right. So, but I think it's good to be able to do a little bit of everything and have some knowledge on everything. But when you do have a specialty, or like, let's say beachfront or whatever, waterfront, it's good because you're able to keep that specialized, thing there. You can farm that area and just get those people in that area if that's something that you want to do, and just specialize on that. But I don't want to do that. I want to be able to offer a little bit of everything.
It's weird to be looking at the different types of, I guess it does make marketing a lot easier when you're specialized like that, right? So like, I've got a buddy of mine who works down in Naples. All he does is waterfront lots over $3 million.
Nice.
That's awesome.
A nice niche.
That's all he touches. And he might do 15 of those a year.
That's all you need to do.
Yeah, for sure.
He's kind of developed a persona down there of just being like that guy to go to. Yep. So when you see the neighbors in that area selling, it's all his face on every single sign that's out there.
That's great. I mean, it's great branding for sure. Like if you want to just
if you can make it happen, you can make it happen.
Absolutely.
Well, you're becoming. We talk about this before, Nick. It's becoming the guy or gal in whatever industry. Either you're going to be a niche person or you're going to be an everything person. I consider you an everything person. I consider myself an everything person, and quite frankly, I consider you an everything person. But there are people that they are like, that's the guy I'm calling for X. So either way, it's become the authority of that niche or of everything. Mm-hmm. But that's it. But it's putting yourself out there, knowing that you are willing to put yourself out there, saying that you know everything, which is you better know everything.
Yeah.
Because they will call you on it.
For sure.
Well, the bigger thing about that is even if you don't know everything, make sure that the information that you put out there is either A, accurate, or B, you give yourself time to go figure out the correct answer.
That's another thing too, is there's so much inaccurate information that's put on the internet every day, and people go buy it and go, oh, that's real. I'm like, that's so false. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
They're disseminating bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Anyway, good stuff. All right, what else we got? Mrs. Verge.
Yes.
I know you're friends with myself, and I know you're friends with Nick, but we want your true unbiased opinion on Barnos. Like, what do you think about them? Who should buy them? Tell us your opinion as a realtor.
I think that it's a really awesome option available, and I cannot believe, I don't know if it's just because you guys came onto the scene, but how many people are asking for Barnos now. It's insane. I see it like literally every day online. So I think it's a really great option for people that are wanting to build a home. I just finished building one.
A home.
And yeah,
not a barn.
A home, yes. and just the regular, it's a custom build. So it was such a long process and so frustrating.
Could you elaborate on that, please?
I don't know how much time do we have. Yeah. I started in October of 2021. I did my contract. We closed on our construction loan December 8th of 2021. And I just moved in February 14th, 2024. So yeah, it was long. And I think that, I mean, we love our home. However, if you're wanting to build a house quicker and you're wanting to spend less money on that build and still get a home that's just, it reaches all of the codes and everything like a regular construction home, a barn dominium is an awesome option for you to go ahead and do. And it's so much quicker. What do you guys, like 6 months, you said?
6 months,
or so at time. I mean, it took us 6 months to get a permit. Well, that was also like around 2021 where COVID was still kind of happening and stuff. But just to be able to build a house from top to bottom within 6, even 9 months is like awesome. So, and it looks beautiful. And I think that a lot of the trends with the farm style and all that kind of stuff, the barn type decor is so popular right now that for you guys to be able to offer that type of a product is really great. And I like different. So like the house that we just built, the elevation was something that had never been built before. And I said, I like it. It's different. I don't want to be like everyone else. I just put a fence in. It's black. Like, I didn't want to do the regular white PVC. I wanted to do something different. And I feel like a barn dominium is different. Like that you don't see, you're used to those regular Florida style homes. And if you see a barn dominium, you come up and you see an acre of property with a beautiful barn door on it, you're going to be like, holy moly, that's awesome. This is great. And I love having that type of an effect where you're just not like cookie cutter like the other person down the street. Yeah. And we have some in Royal Highlands, which is where I built, there's a lot of property, vacant land out there available. Those pieces of property used to be available for $3,000-$4,000 or an acre or whatever, and now they're going for $35,000-$40,000 if not more. And there's still a lot of raw land out there that you can use to build. And we're also going to be getting what do you call it? I forgot the name of the builder that's going to be coming out and doing the whole lagoon and all that stuff right off Hexham. So we're going to be getting a whole influx of building and construction that's going to be happening, but nothing is going to be like what you guys do.
Well, the cool part about the builder coming in there too is all the upgrades that are going to be happening to your fire services out there and to all of the actual municipal services that come about all that, to where you do get a lot of those more common amenities of being a little bit closer to the city than being out
absolutely
in the boondocks.
And I feel like, there's a lot of people that travel, a lot of professionals that travel from, Tampa and come down the Suncoast Parkway, and they want to be somewhere a little bit more rural, somewhere where they don't feel like they're by the city, and they just want to have some peace and quiet, and building something like what you guys are able to build, and having that peace and tranquility, and feeling like you're out there in the middle of nowhere, but you're really 5-10 minutes from everything. That's an awesome thing to be able to provide for people, and you can make them look so beautiful and elegant. So people need to get out of their heads like that barn type of mentality.
It has been crazy the last month and a half, 2 months, the modern styles of Barnos that people are bringing to us.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, it's insane.
So you can make it as elaborate as you want it to be, and make it as elegant and beautiful inside, or you can kind of make it a little bit more casual, and do what you want, but they're beautiful.
I think that we talk about this briefly. I think there will be a name shift eventually, because I'm not saying stigma, but there are some people that are hung up on barn. Barn, it's country, it's barn, it's Chip and Joanne, it's barn. And I think it's going to wind up being like industrial home, industrial structure. Does that make sense? And we might have to maybe just even market differently to different demographics that way.
I think that you guys should start it.
Well, we've started
you
lots
guys
of
got
stuff.
it onto the MLS.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That was you. That's pretty awesome.
That was a feat.
You guys are paving the way.
Trying. So, I mean, our hope with the MLS thing was that it would make it easier on the comp side, and we could go ahead and start making lending easier. But the thing with all these partners is they are so relatively new in this area. They're not changing hands.
Yeah, that's true.
So like people build them, and it's great. They're out there, but they
haven't sold them yet.
Yeah. So to get comps straight off that is a pretty difficult thing right now. But I agree. I think if we can get people to start seeing Craftsman, Victorian, modern, barn dominium, like as a house style instead of like a construction type, it's going to make things so much easier.
I think we're going to create it.
I think you should.
We're going to figure it out. And it will be, just like you said. Craftsman, modern, what is it? And if it's not Barndo, we will figure it out. It's a matter of time.
Yep.
We still just can't name a podcast for some odd reason. Although Miss Verge, she came up with a good one today. You want to tell her what it is, Nick?
Take it away.
Actually, let's let Jen do it, because the truth is, me and Nick are looking at each other going, I don't remember really what she said.
I said business banter.
I know.
Look
it up in his brain.
Business banter. It goes in one ear and out the other.
Yeah. So business banter.
Business banter.
Business banter. And the reason why we said that is because it's not just Barndo talk. Although you have a great segment. Thank you. We'll segment that out, because that was fantastic. We'll just blast that video everywhere. I like business banter. Here's the thing, Jen. Like, I think a lot of people overthink their marketing aspect of their business, and they just truly. Me and Nick talk about time. All you gotta do is truly show like who you are as individuals. Be honest with people. You're going to screw up in business. You're going to forget to call. You're going to forget your follow up. But it's how you handle it the whole entire time. There's things we no. Nick will definitely forget to call me back, 100%. But you're also busy, and I understand that. But those are the things too. Like, you also have to, and this isn't. I know we're joking around, but at the same time, for seriousness. There's times where you have to just buckle down, and you have to do your follow-up, and you have to do your things. And I think that's what you're phenomenal at. I think that is one of the biggest attributes that you have, is that you can sit down, because let me give you an example. The other day in the office, there was like 4 or 5 people. Jen happened to be in the office, and but you're in the corner. I can't work through that. If there's 4 or 5 people in the office, and they're talking about this, that, and the other, and my ADD will just click over. I'm like, what are we talking about? Versus, staying there. But it's focus, right? And I know you got to have a hard time with everything that you have to balance business wise.
Yeah, I've got to kind of set portions of my day dedicated to, I'm going to fix this portion of this company at this point in time.
Right.
Switch over to this company for a little period of time. But it is, you get calls all day long. It's like,
it's nonstop.
You gotta feel them the way you feel them.
Yeah. And then you feel that. Then you had to feel, but then because of the position we put ourselves in, all of us, we have to feel other people's problems. Mm-hmm. Because we said that's what we're going to do.
I feel like I feel most other people's problems throughout the day.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not just ours. It's their self-inflicted issue that we have to figure out. And I'm like, well, if you just would have did this differently. And then I sit back and I realized I just spent 27 minutes on someone else's business. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, that's what we say we do. We're here to help. so it's tough.
But then when you're that
are.
person thinks of like, well, Barno or somebody needs Barnos or whatever, you're going to be the first person that comes to.
And that's why
to mind.
that's a big part of why we do it too.
Well, aside from all that, I mean, just think about the people that do call us about their own businesses that they need help in. Whenever somebody goes ahead and starts looking for any type of recommendation, we're always top of mind of going ahead and recommending, because we've, not that you've put in the work and put in, the karma aspect of it, but you help out where you can. People want to help people that help.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
That is very true, Nick. And unfortunately, until we all figure out that mindset, we're going to live in the world we live in. And that is why I think our circle is pretty cool. All right, Virginator.
Yes.
How do people get a hold of you?
You can either find me on social media, which you can find Jen Verge Realtor, which is my business page, or just Jen Verge is my regular profile. And you can reach out to me directly to my cell phone. My phone number is 352-610-0030. And I think that's pretty much it, right?
More importantly, before we end this podcast, we're going to Vegas, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So tell everyone what we're doing in Vegas.
So it is the International Builder Show. We're going out there for, we'll be there for 3 days.
That's
right.
right.
Yep. But we get to go meet all of the vendors that we have somewhat relationships with, some new vendors that we want to go out and meet, and see all the new products and materials coming to the market.
Yeah. So this is the goal. Are we gonna have some fun out there? Sure. We're gonna take us some sites with Josh out there? Sure.
Nice.
But it is an imperative in today's world, not to be top of mind. You have to be top of technology, top of what's coming out, educated, what's happening, what's coming. That's why we're going out there. All right. Well, thank you, Virginator, for being here today.
Me.
Thank you, Nick, of course, as always. And next stop is Vegas. A little less conversation and a lot more action. See you soon.